Welcome back, everyone, to the 2014 Billabong Pro Tahiti, along with big wave charger Ross Williams. Honored to be in the booth today and calling what we're considering to be yet another historic day, because we've seen some massive waves come under the radar of these guys. A little difficult to find the good ones out there. It's
unofficially turned into a big wave event. This is great. You know, these guys are having to compete in waves that's not familiar on the ASP Tour.
As we ready for our next round 4 competition here, Brett Simpson obviously battling for CT survival, and John Florence put on a clinic yesterday, and Kai Otton, one of the best waves we've seen surfed here at Chopu, maybe ever, in terms of what he was able to do on the foam ball. What do you make of Kai's performance?
Kai's been unbelievable, and we talked about how he has zero fear. On paper, this is probably one of the most exciting heats this morning. I really wanted to watch this one. Brett, John, and Kai had some of the, Brett obviously had a big upset with Parco earlier in this event, so these 3 guys are going to bring it.
We just witnessed Gabriel Medina living up to expectations. John Florence, he's always the surfer to watch, whether it be the free surfs or even in competition here. What is it that John Florence does that allows him to be so relaxed, to be so calm in these heavy situations?
It's crazy, his technique and skill factor. I mean, what he does on these waves is literally on another level. He just finds that perfect entry. He's so casual, he never panics, and he doesn't hesitate.
As we see John Florence, the first to strike, he pulls in, gets cleanly pitted, and he'll kick out. So John Florence, first wave in the exchange up against Kai Otton and Brett Simpson, as we send it down to Rosie Hodge.
You're looking down like that, just going.
Yeah. Hey Gabriel, I mean, on a day like today, scary conditions. How much does fear influence your decisions?
Yeah, it's pretty big out there. Yeah, I just had 2 good ones, like I was looking for the middle ones that you can get deeper, and yeah, it's pretty big out there. I had fun against Kolohe and Bede, and I'm pretty stoked to make it.
And it's finals day today. How aware are you of your rankings and your other competitors?
I don't know. I'm not thinking about it. I'm just surfing and worried to get my waves, and I don't know. It's so fun out there. I've never surfed waves like this before, and I'm enjoying. And I want to get a good result, of course.
All right, Gabriel, we'll see you in the quarterfinals. Back up to you guys.
Thanks, Rosie. Gabriel Medina, eyes fixed on the horizon as he sees more lines. This swell continuing to fill in, and we're still waiting for numbers on John Florence, but watch this unload.
And today, all day today, Pat, it's going to be, I want everyone to really focus on who puts themselves in a position. All these surfers are highly intellectual. They know where to sit and where to grab these waves. There's only going to be a few of them that really want it. The same as if it were 3 feet. And John is one of these fellows. Look at this right here. All day long, he will be looking to be in that zone to totally knife it. He will look for that perfect spot to take off right there under the ledge and put himself in that position where he will get the maximum amount of tube time, and that is a very understated fact. A lot of these surfers, all of these surfers are scared, but it takes that little bit of extra something to get themselves to get deeper under the ledge and actually swing under it and take off.
And commitment definitely being awarded the high numbers. 9.43 for John Florence, so the bar is set awfully high. And just so much power unloading early morning, and as we mentioned, we anticipate waves building throughout the day. So 9.43, the barrel barometer set by John Florence. Now Kai Otton and Simpo have to really dig deep and get some serious numbers on the board.
I think a big part of it for John that helps him is his heart rate. If we took his pulse, it's barely there. It's as if he's surfing 3-foot waves. He really does swing around under these huge monster drops as if he does it every single day. In fact, he enjoys it.
6'1", the Hawaiian, so calm in very high consequence. situations as he illustrated yesterday, and he's doing just that today, putting a 9.43 on the board. It's interesting, after that 5th place finish in Rio, he was immediately on the jet, came to Tahiti, spent a lot of time here. He loves the waves here. As we check in with, yet again, John Florence stalls it up, hits the brakes, and gets the clean exit once again. So 2 back-to-back clean waves. John Florence on the board. Kai Otton, Brett Simpson yet to get their first waves, as we see Simpo. He'll take a look on this medium-sized one, instantly tries to stall it up, not overly deep, and then loses it right at the end.
You can see Brett there just caught an edge as he was exiting that tube, and a bigger wave from Kai Otton.
Kai Otton then gets the lip right on the exit of that.
Well, I tell you what, you can see Kai definitely charges. There's no doubt about that.
That board still tombstoning.
Oh, that was a heavy situation, Pat. He barely grabbed a breath of air before that next wave.
Good to see Kai Otton able to get up for that quick breath before that next wave came through. Keep your eyes, and there's Kai. So water safety trying to get to him, and he'll have to take another.
Right there, Kai is pulling for oxygen. He was held down for a long time, ragdolling. Hopefully he didn't connect with the bottom. Take a look at his facial expression. He looks completely coherent, so that's good. And he's gonna grab that ski and head back around.
You know, we were talking with Kai on our way out from the contest site yesterday, missing the ski right there, and he said he got the flogging of his life out here. He's definitely paying the price, willing to go incredibly deep. And it just shows you what Chopu can do in a split second. You have the wave of your life, you get that west pole that comes in, and immediately you're in a dire situation.
Well, Kai Otton, as we mentioned, is not afraid. He will give it a good run, and he turned around, to all his credit, and took off on that late one.
Let's look where it went right for John.
John, so smart, getting a quick backup score for that 9.43, and score still about to drop. That's definitely going to put a pretty tricky situation on the rest of the heat. And here's Kai Otton falling from the roof of that wave, trying to connect, just barely does, catch his inside rail, and he can't get that bottom turn in. There he is. He's going to connect with the lip right now. He's actually inside the barrel. Extremely heavy situation right there. That is the last way you want to fall in a wave. Falling backwards always is painful. It really puts you in a bizarre situation underwater. I guarantee he ragdolled. He flipped upside down. And it looks like he's fine now, which is a good sign. I don't see any blood.
Unbelievable. So a rainbow welcoming everyone here on our final day of competition. We hope to complete and go all the way into finals as the swell continues to pump. A beautiful morning, a little rain, but lots of swell. And Kai Otton just getting a little punishment there early on wave number 1. As scores coming in, John Florence had second wave an 8, so he has an 8, 9.43. Both Simpo and Otts are in a combo situation. And we see some waves of consequence continuing to filter through. Let's check in with Pete Mel.
Well, thank you very much, guys. And in the channel, that was a heavy wipeout. I mean, I was right there on it in the channel here. He was extended and literally looked like the lip just took it right on the chops, man. And lucky that I think he's just now coming around. Hopping off pretty quickly. He should be all right. But tell you what, I mean, I was just going to kind of talk about the fact that yesterday, Ross, you were talking about the fact that you're getting that draw from the 17, the 17-second stuff or the 15-second stuff didn't quite have it. Today, we're seeing it. We're actually seeing it. The reef comes down and literally comes into the wave. And that's what we're talking about, that subterranean type of surf. And it's just doing that on the biggest sets. It's pretty amazing to watch and pretty amazing to feel right here in the channel.
Yeah, Pete, John made his first big wave. That drop looked pretty easy. What was the difference between his wave and Kai? And obviously Kai, fell on his heel edge. Did he get in early enough?
Well, I mean, he did. He got hung up a little bit right at the top, and that's where he got extended. And that's just what you can't do. You got to paddle down the face. A lot of times, you paddle as hard as you possibly can, but you're not totally in it. He knew he wasn't totally in it, and he was going to have a late drop there. Whereas John, same thing. He took the first wave of the set too, though. It was like kind of a perfect scenario for him. There wasn't too much draw off the reef. He was just paddled down the thing with like 3 or 4 strokes. His positioning is impeccable. It really is. I mean, he just knows how to sit in that perfect spot. He just nonchalantly turns around and paddles into it with like 3 or 4 strokes. It's pretty amazing what he does, and it's just, you can't teach that stuff.
Pete, it's always easy to speculate when you're the armchair quarterback, these waves that are going under these guys, some of the sets. Are there waves that these guys just can't catch no matter where they are?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was going to say, yeah. I mean, there is those waves. They're the biggest ones. You can hear the hoots and whistles going from the channel, and you kind of want to paddle over. But I'll tell you what, these guys are still thinking they can. They'll look at them as best they can, but sometimes it just, you know, you can't get down the face with your 2 arms. Got to use something else.
Hey, Pete, I know it's hectic in the channel, but did you get a chance to look at what size equipment most of the fellows are using?
Yeah, they're on the 6.4s, 6.2s. You know, Kolohe's on a 6.6. I think that's kind of the biggest one is 6.6, and I just don't understand it. But that's the future of big wave riding, is you got to ride small boards.
Well, as we pointed out, foam can be your friend. Definitely wanting to get in early on these waves. Scores coming in for Brett Simpson, 2.17, and there is Dion Atkinson up against Owen Wright, Kelly Slater, 4-time champ here, 11-time world champion. You remember back in 2011, Owen Wright and Kelly Slater doing battles in the finals, a massive one. And we can see our own Pete Mel right in the channel, getting a great perspective. That thing just spitting all the way out to the flotilla, and another one. And if that sound doesn't send shivers up your spine, nothing will. You can feel it.
It's amazing how loud this wave is. It has so much power. The reason for that, Pat, is all that water drawing off the reef towards these swells coming at it. It's a double whammy. It's twice as much energy. You know, we talk about that no back situation. Literally, it feels like the ocean spilling over on itself like a waterfall. It really cracks when this lip lands in the trough. It's like nothing you've ever heard.
Well, at this point, John Florence doing an unbelievable job getting to work very early, a 9.43, almost a 10. Backs it up with an 8. Priority sits with John Florence. Second in line, Brett Simpson and Kai Otton. Both Kai Otton and Simpson in a combo situation. 17 minutes on the clock here in round 4. Winner goes directly to the quarterfinals. The only saving grace for losing in this round, you do get a second chance.
Get another crack at it. And that could either be a good thing or a bad thing if you're overly nervous. Maybe you're dreading that second run at it. But you know, it's really impressive. John not skipping a beat out here, straight off to a solid lead. And you can tell he's literally enjoying himself. You know, I'm sure he's got a little bit of nerves because it's a heavy situation, but he's relishing.
More lines starting to fill in as we see John Florence with priority. Will he use it on this decent sized wave? He'll take a look. And John Florence commits, grabs rail, parks it, stalls beautifully. Massive spit out of the barrel and just relaxed as ever, makes his way out. Looks out the back, and no takers on the following wave. So John Florence just in that rhythm that we've seen from heat after heat.
I just can't help but to laugh. It's so casual, his approach. He literally waited for that swell to approach, took 3 strokes, and fell down this face. There is so much contour on that face. It's amazing the technique John uses to slide down. Watch as he pushes his weight forward on that front knee. Then he slides his rear end to slow down, just for good measure, making sure he gets the maximum tube time on a 12-foot double up at Chopes. I mean, it's unbelievable. He is actually toying with this wave right now.
So no pulse. John Florence gets his 3rd wave in the exchange. 2012 Rookie of the Year, ended up 4th in 2012. Unbelievable to come into the CT and end up 4th in your rookie season. If that doesn't say how much ability you have, nothing will. And the scores dropping, it will impact John Florence and his score line, looking to ditch an 8. Priority now sits with Brett Simpson, and he remains in the compo situation, as is the case for Kai Otton. Just under 15 minutes on the clock here in Heat 3, Round 4, waiting for one last number. There is 8.73. So now the job for Kai Otton and Brett Simpson, that much more difficult. Can they climb out of the combo situation? We'll find out as the 2014 Billabong Pro Tahiti continues right after this. Stay close. John Florence continues to show his dominance here in Tahiti, dropping 8.73 and a 9.43, leaving Brett Simpson and Kai Ott in a combo situation. So not only is the story about rising to the occasion, it's all about re-qualifying for Brett Simpson, current 34, and Kai Ott, current 26. For more on that, we send it to the desk. Morning, guys.
Cheers, Pat. Yeah, a very crucial event for Kai Otton and Brett Simpson, this one, and they've already done so well to make it to this point in the draw. Between the number 10 spot and the number 22 spot, there's only 3 surfers that are still alive in the draw. So for all those guys outside of qualification, like Brett and Kai, this is a fantastic opportunity to get back inside the re-qualification mark heading into the back half of the season. And it's been a tough one for Kai, taking one of the beatings of the contest in this heat.
Oh, absolutely. Re-qualification is the last thing on their minds right now, absolutely. It's all about survival. But Kai has got a good chance, you know, no one loses in this round, so I can't see him getting past John right now. But Kai, if he can draw an easy heat or a relatively easy heat next and try and get back into the quarters.
You can see him in 26th position there on the ratings, and a lot of the names above him there are already out of the contest. Same goes for Brett Simpson. You look at all those guys ahead of him, you know, only Dion Atkinson and Tiago Perez are alive in the contest still. So great opportunity for those guys outside the bubble. In fact, Strider, when you look at the remaining 12 surfers in the contest, they're so well spread out throughout the contest. So this is going to be one hell of a final day, an important one for those guys trying to re-qualify, a crucial one for the title contenders. Waves approaching. We'll throw it back to you guys.
Thanks, Ronnie, Strider, Aki, as we just continue to see how much water's drawn off the reef. As Simple will take a look, he'll instantly grab rail, stalls it up. Massive spit on the end of that tube, and Simpo trying to climb his way out of the combo situation, as behind that wave, Kai Otton scrapping into this one. Clean on the bottom turn. He'll drive down the line. Quick tube for Otts. So things starting to get busy at the 11-minute mark, Heat 3, Round 4. Winner of this heat will move directly to quarterfinals, and this is what we like to see, these guys fighting back, Ross.
Beautiful. Just a little less size on this set wave here. A little bit more manageable for Brett. Beautiful style. You can see he got sort of a narrow stance on that backhand attack. You can see him knifing down the face. Could have been maybe just a touch deeper, but you can still, a lot of tube times, that thing spits its guts out. Just a testament to how hollow these waves are at Chopu. This is definitely one of the most hollow waves on the planet. You're not going to get a wave that has this much room inside the tube. You could fit a bus through that barrel right there, and Kai Otton blazing with all that speed. I love this front angle. You can see how much tube time he gets behind a curtain, and there's a shotgun spit as he flies out to the shoulder.
Great exchange between Kai Otton and Brett Simpson. In terms of the volume for Kai Otton, obviously a taller individual, 31 on the volume, and a 6'8" board, bringing some size into it.
Yeah, I think it's all about the initial 3 to 4 strokes, getting a little bit of momentum. You can see John on a 6'2". I actually got a text from John Pizell, his shaper, says he's riding a 6'6" out there, so a little bit more length out there as well for John. And for John, that's a big board. And it's all, again, the little bit of length and thickness and volume helps you get momentum to give you that extra speed to slide down that face so that you don't fall on your heel edge like we saw that horrible wipeout earlier from Kai.
There's the aspect of the volume of the board. We talk about wingspan, some of these bigger surfers. Owen Wright, one of the fastest paddlers out there. Has to be a situation for John Florence as well. I mean, we've seen him scrap into some monsters. I don't know how he's able to get out of that ledge and paddle down the face on these.
It really is all about keeping your weight forward. So picture a skateboarder dropping into a half pipe. You'll never see them lean back. If they lean back, they're instantly going to shoot that skateboard forward and fall on their rear end. It's the same thing for a late drop at Chopo. All your energy, weight, momentum has to be leaning forward and down. And guess what? Of course, just like dropping into a half pipe, your mind is fighting that. It's telling you, no, stay back on that ledge. It's a hard thing to do, but you need to keep that weight and everything moving forward.
Turns out John Florence can do both.
Yeah.
Rips on a skateboard and can do the same on a surfboard. John Florence, he's gone on record. He's quoted by saying, "The reward outweighs the risk when it comes to Chopu." That's an interesting quote. I think that helps us maybe dive into his headspace a little bit better.
That's coming from someone in his early 20s,
yeah.
no doubt, with no scar tissue, so to speak. But, you know, John has so much talent. Like I said, he's actually relishing the moment right now. I don't feel like he's holding back at all, not much fear. Obviously, he respects this wave, but make no mistake about it, he's enjoying himself.
And you love a good debate, especially when it comes to, you know, these mini lists that we come up with. But when you talk about John Florence, arguably best tube rider ever, or is it in this discussion everyone's going to have their favorites?
There's so many ways to slice it up and dissect that conversation. You know, John's a young man, so he has his entire career in front of him, so it's kind of hard to say yes, he's the best ever. But I believe he's definitely on the cutting edge right now. He's showing even guys like Kelly Slater some new moves in terms of backside surfing, and that's a testament.
Simpo's scores dropping 6.5 and a 6.77 for Otts. Let's look back at the top waves so far.
So casual. You know, this entire event, John's been the most eager to let go of that rail, showing that's an extra level of difficulty. Extremely hard to not hold on to that safety rail right there. And John, another 8.73, backing up that 9.43, so he is way out in control. There's that horrible wipeout. Kai Otton taking this lip to the right to his forehead. Right? You can see right there, he leans back, getting caught on his heel edge. Horrendous wipeout. So Kai still looking for a solid score to back up his 6.77. And this drop right there by John was amazing. That was such a difficult drop. You know, sometimes those drops can get overlooked. It really is the most difficult part of riding Chopu. Brett Simpson, 6.5 for this effort right here. Look how beautiful that wave is. And something to take note of, the wind is absolutely perfect out there. We were a little worried that, you know, this swell was going to be greeted by tricky conditions. The texture underwater is perfect.
So the conditions forcing a few of the world's best into survival mode, some of them flourishing in the conditions. John Florence, 9.43, 8.73. Combo situation remains as we hit the 6-minute mark for Kai Otton and Brett Simpson, even with the 6.77 and the 6.5 for Simpo. Both surfers need 2 brand new waves. And we saw this with Kelly Slater and Jatson Andre. You know, you have one surfer just in that rhythm, dropping 9s, and then the other surfer struggling to get those quality waves. Obviously, both Simpo and Kai Otton, you know, Kai Otton, one of the few surfers able to grab a 10 at this year's Chopu event, struggling right now to get on the board and battle back with John Florence on top.
Yeah, you know, we said this at the top of the heat, and look who has priority, John Florence. So he's next up for that big beast that's going to come through. I think there's enough time for us to see another set wave in this heat. But, you know, Kai, to his credit, he swung around and went for that big wave that he wiped out on. But John just looks like he wants every single set wave that's going to come his way.
And if you look at the position, too, Kai Otton was talking about earlier, you see lines approaching, but he knows that the judges are loving the fact when these guys backdoor that West Bowl section, start off a little deeper. He's a little inside to John. He does have priority. Second priority with Simpo as we hit the 5-minute warning mark on Heat 3, Round 4. Winner goes directly to the quarterfinals. Second and third place finishers will have a chance in the next round to continue on. As we look at 11-time world champ Kelly Slater coming up in our next heat up against Owen Wright and Dion Atkinson.
You can see Kelly and all the boys, they're going to be breathing all day long, really it's important to stay calm and make sure you stay in a good headspace, because it's easy to get overexcited out here and waste energy.
And you could see that froth in Kelly Slater in the post-heat interview. Kelly trying to basically bring down the nerves. He wanted to show his excitement, but he wanted to tone that down.
He really did, and you can see him drawing some big breath there. He's doing exactly that. So, you know, even Kelly Slater, like John and a lot of the guys out here, they're so excited, but you can't get too excited. You have to calm yourself, because it's going to be a full day of competition.
Well, we can assume that Kelly Slater's focus is right here in Tahiti. We made reference to it yesterday. Sometimes when there's swell elsewhere, that's where his mind's at, but there's no place he'd rather be, as well as Owen Wright and Dion Atkinson. They're going to have their work cut out for them in Heat 4, Round 4, and as we mentioned, building swell throughout the day. We anticipate crowning a 2014 Billabong Pro Tahiti champion today with incredible conditions, as both Kai Otton, Brett Simpson find themselves continued in that combo situation, 3.5 on the clock, priority sitting with John Florence.
Yeah, it's really amazing. You can see Kai Otton sitting just a little deeper than John, but John has priority. And here comes a wave.
And it looks like Kai Otton, he'll instantly stall up, drives down the line, calm, relaxed for Kai Otton. Trying to get anything in the high 8s, low 9s, trying to dig himself out of the combo situation. Still enough time. Right now, let's send it down to Pete Mel in the channel.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I'm here with Anthony Walsh here for GoPro, and also himself to get a few waves. Best desk in the house right here in the channel. Hey, I wanted to ask you, you've dealt with a lot of beatings out here, as long as glory waves too, but how would you say is the best way to protect yourself after a wipeout, like similar to what Kai Otton had?
The best thing is just, just protect obviously your head and your vitals like that, but just to go limp and just let it take you, because, you're going to get ragdoll and it's going to be pretty intense, but it's going to put you in the lagoon and then it's going to go kind of mellow. So it's just like cover up and just try to relax and hold your breath.
Well, thank you, Anthony. I'm just trying to hear the whistles, so we'll see you real quick. But again, I mean, GoPro, a lot of the GoPro challenge for this event. I'm sure there's been some great submissions.
Yeah, a lot, and the guys have been really psyched to use it. And it's been a lot of little 4-foot clean days, which is really perfect for it. So, yeah, all the boys are getting into it, so it's really good.
Well, there you go, Anthony Walsh from the channel. Best desk in the house.
Thanks, Pete, and all the fans out there. Be sure to go to aspworldtour.com / GoPro challenge. $15,000 if the submission is from in competition, $10,000 in the free surf, and be interesting to see if Kelly Slater got a good submission. Did grab the camera yesterday in his heat. As time is ticking down, it doesn't look like Kai Otton or Brett Simpson was ever able to climb out. Some lines approaching, however. Priority, as you pointed out, Ross, sitting with John Florence, and he's been patient. He wants one last bomb to finish this heat.
Yeah, no doubt. Maybe looking to even better his scoreline. He's got the 8.73 for a throwaway, and he just looks extremely comfortable in this heat. But Kai Otton and Brett Simpson, make no mistakes about it, these guys are dangerous. They will go for it out there. They have a lot of courage.
Well, in terms of the battle, we heard the Dust talk about it. It's all about re-qualification, more so for Brett Simpson, currently 34th. Kai Otton right there at 26, and it's that end of the year. If you make that 20-second cutoff mark, your CT hopes are alive and well for the following season. Then they'll take the top 10 WQS rated surfers and the 2 wild cards. So for Kai Otton, obviously looking good right on that outside perimeter of re-qualification, still with a few more stops in the 2014 season. As we near the last 30 seconds, John Florence taking the fast track to the quarterfinals. Kai Otton, Brett Simpson relegated to the following round. Will be an elimination round, trying to make their way to the quarters. And a few more lines approaching. John Florence with priority. And once again, calmly glides into this one. Slight hand touch, stands up tall and proud for John Florence. So quick and almost a sketchy dismount there for Florence, as the time will wind down here in this heat. As we mentioned, coming up, 11-time world champ Kelly Slater, Owen Wright, and Dion Atkinson. They'll take to the water. When we come back to Tahiti, we bring in Joe Trappell and 89 world champ Martin Potter in for the call.